All right, guys, what are we talking about today? Let's talk about self-driving cars. Self-driving cars like Tesla and many other companies are deciding to ditch, to ditch LiDAR. Is that wise? Now, we all know that human beings suck at driving. And what do we use to drive? They say vision is the only thing that we use when driving, but that's not true. That's not true, and that is the reason why they are removing LiDAR and a bunch of other sensors from self-driving cars. But that is actually not based on truth. When we drive as human beings, we're using way more than just vision. We're using our hearing, because we need to know where sounds are coming from. We are predicting things. We're predicting what's going to happen on the road, as well as we are trying to constantly observe what other people are doing. Even if we don't see them, we can kind of realize what they're doing based on how their car is moving. I know that a lot of that is done through vision, but some of that is also done, and wait for it, with our UAP systems. Basically, we are predicting what's going on similarly as what they do with the chatbot GPT. I'm sure that we're doing that with our minds. Some say that could be a form of telekinesis. But anyway, it's much more complicated, which is why sometimes we have visions of what might be happening ahead of time before it actually happens, which has nothing to do with our eyes. But anyway, if human beings are using all of these extra sensors other than just vision to drive, and we suck at it so much, why would you think that a car or a artificial intelligence, quote unquote, would be better at it than we are? And especially when removing some important sensors such as hearing and LiDAR and things that are able to see what we can't see even with our eyes. Like with LiDAR, you can see through objects, I believe. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I think you're able to map out a room without really seeing what's there. Maybe it's using something a little bit more complicated than what I can explain. But anyway, let's just put it this way, okay? Let's pretend I don't know anything about what I'm talking about, but I do know vacuum cleaners. I know robot vacuum cleaners inside and out. I've got a Nito that I open up and I can change parts and all that stuff. So whenever it breaks down, I buy like some spare parts from eBay and I put it back together, and it runs just as well as before. You know, they have all kinds of different components. But what I've noticed is, and I've tried them all, I've tried the Nito, I've tried the Shark, I've tried the Eufy Genie. I have not tried the Roomba because it's expensive and it doesn't have any of the things that I'm interested in. It happens to be the one that is most valuable and most sold in America for some reason. I don't know why, because it's not as good as the Nito or the Shark or the Eufy or the Roborock. I think Roborock is actually the most expensive out of all of these. It's like over $1,000, whatever. But anyway, what you'll find is that the best robot vacuums happen to work best because they have LiDAR on it. So I don't care how many cameras you have on your self-driving car, without LiDAR, you're strongly disabling the overall ability of the vehicle to do what it's supposed to. And just judging by robot vacuums and how they go around, move around the house and stuff, some of them that do not have LiDAR, for instance, don't do so well in the dark. So what if your camera has morning dew on it, or it gets frozen over because you're in a cold area? What happens during nighttime? Human beings suck at driving at night even more than during the day. So I don't know. It seems like a very questionable thing to do. Of course, it's going to be cheaper, right? It's going to be cheaper, and they say, again, their excuse is human beings only use their eyes, only use vision to drive, and they do pretty well at it. And basically, as robots take over the the market and will be able to drive instead of us, then, you know, they just need to be slightly better at it than we are. And I don't think that's appropriate. I think that, you know, they need to have a lot of different sensors on board. And I think that hearing is a strong one, and the ability to predict things such as to be able to connect to the grid and know which light is turning green and red and all that stuff, and whether it should be red or green and all that stuff is very important, because even light systems can make mistakes. So predict the unpredictable is what it boils down to, and I think that removing LiDAR is a big mistake, but you know, it's me. I get it wrong all the time, don't I? Again, maybe vacuum cleaners are not the same thing as cars, which also means that you probably are not going to drive your vacuum cleaner in the street. So vacuum cleaners don't need to deal with weather conditions. They don't need to deal with a moose or a coyote or, you know, something just jumping in front of you in the middle of the road. So, you know, I don't know. I think that removing LiDAR may be a huge mistake, but we'll see. We'll see, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. And I'm going to leave you with this song. It's the same old song with a different meaning since Pelosi's gone. It's the same.